1865, the end of the Civil War, pages 7 through 9. The country reached a breaking point with the U.S. presidential election of November 1860. To the South's dismay, Abraham Lincoln, candidate of the anti-slavery Republican Party, was elected President of the United States. The Southern states feared that a Republican-led government would destroy their economy and put an end to their practice of slavery. After the election, 7 Southern states, South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas, seceded from the Union. In February 1861, they officially formed the Confederate States of America, which they hoped would be a permanent nation separate from the United States. The war began just 2 months later in Charleston, South Carolina. On April 12, 1861, after a Union commander refused to surrender the Union fort there, Confederate forces opened fire. Forced to choose sides, 4 other Southern states, Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee, also seceded and joined the Confederacy. No one had any idea how terrible the war would be. Waging total war. In the first 2 years of the war, little went well for the Union. President Lincoln's generals failed him one after another. Still, a Union victory in 1862 made it possible for Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, which granted freedom to slaves in the Confederacy. When the war began, Lincoln's main goal had been to save the Union. Now he began to think about how to end slavery once and for all. Although the North felt its cause was just, Union losses were horrible. In one battle, a Union survivor recalled that, "Men fell like leaves in autumn. It seemed miraculous that any of us escaped at all. The cries of the wounded," another man said, "were weird, unearthly, terrible to hear and bear." A long road. Like many free black Americans in the North, the famous speaker and formerly enslaved person, Frederick Douglass, celebrated news of the Emancipation Proclamation. "We are all liberated by this proclamation," he said. "Everybody is liberated. The white man is liberated. The black man is liberated. The brave men now fighting the battles of their country against rebels and traitors are now liberated." Douglass also recognized, however, that the proclamation was only the first step on a long road towards freedom and equality for all black Americans. Freedom for some. On its own, the Emancipation Proclamation did not end slavery in the United States. It only freed enslaved people within the portions of the Confederate States that were not already under Union control. This allowed enslaved people in Confederate areas to fight for the Union, soldiers whom the North badly needed. It also redefined the war by making it a crusade against slavery. It would take 2 more years and an amendment to the Constitution to finally end slavery. As the war dragged on, Northern feelings against the fighting grew. Unlike Republicans, Democrats called for an end to battle and a negotiated end to the war. The 1864 election would determine the whole direction of the war, and Lincoln believed he would lose. Caption: Nearly 200,000 black Americans fought for the North during the Civil War.